Welcome on in to Sports Memo Today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander. You know what we're here for, that actionable info in 30 minutes or less. You get it each and every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Sports Memo Today. It's a football Thursday, so you know I got my two guys rocking with me, Matt Josephs. We're going to talk a little Thursday night football NFL prop that I absolutely love with my guy, Matt Josephs. And then we're also going to talk a little Fenway Bowl. We heard from Ross Benjamin and got his thoughts on the total in that game. See what Matt Josephs thinks about the Fenway Bowl. And then closing it down for us, you're going to get two NFL sides from my guy, Eric Pauly, who has his biggest play of the NFL season locked and loaded right this moment. We'll talk about that with EP coming up. But let's start things off with my guy, Matt Josephs. Matt, always a pleasure having you on here. It's another week. It's another win for our Philadelphia Eagles, 12-1, and now everybody is saying they're not going to cover against the Bears. We'll see how that turns out for them. That's what they said about the Giants as well. Matt, how's it been, my guy?
Doing well. Bowl season's upon us. Love the college football bowls, and the NFL props have been going well as well. College basketball sprinkled in, so it's a great time of year.
Yeah, it is the best time of year if you're riding with Matt Josephs. You're getting college football. He is number one at Sports Memo, his best sport until college basketball rolls around for what it's worth, and you start getting some of these mid-major plays in from mid-major Matt. Matt, let's not make the folks wait. Let's get right into it. Thursday night football, we're looking at around 3.5 point favorites for the San Francisco 49ers as they're taking on the Seattle Seahawks. But big news today, put in air quotes, big news. We heard Brock Purdy will be active, Mr. Irrelevant, despite an oblique injury, despite a rib injury, despite that he won't be throwing to Deebo Samuel, still getting some market support, moving that number back to 3.5 with that news. How are you going to be betting this game? Because I know a lot of the times you say, forget that traditional side and total. We're looking at a prop. You got something for us?
Yeah, it's one that just showed up today, so I was really excited because I was looking forward to it. We're looking at Brock Purdy under 33.5 yards, his longest completion, and the reason why is if you look so far this season, only 4 of his 70-ish passes have gone over 15 air yards, and only 2 of his completions have gone over 15 air yards. So the guy's just, dumping it off, and the guys are running along after it. And one of those guys that goes deep is Deebo Samuel. He doesn't have him. Of course, Brandon Ayuk's a bit of an issue here, but you could just roll coverage. You can have a safety on top of him and kind of just watch him that way because he becomes the new deep threat for the San Francisco 49ers. On the Seattle side, it's such a weird statistic. They give up, they're towards top 5, top 10 in most yak allowed, so that not only are guys catching it, they're running for a while after. But if you dig a little bit deeper, they're not giving up a lot of long passes. Only one team in the last 5 games has had a 35-yard completion or longer against Seattle. So they're giving up the yak, but they're not giving up the long passes. So I'm going to take a shot here on a short week in a game that I figure is going to be a lot of McCaffrey, a lot of Mason. Give me under 33.5 yards for the longest completion for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy has been dink it and dunk it since he's jumped in this starting role for Jimmy Garoppolo, but dink and dunk probably even more so when you have an oblique and rib injury, that if they had anybody to play behind him, would we even be seeing Brock Purdy in this game? We're looking at under 33.5, longest completion. You can find that pretty widely available now that it is loaded. Let's swing it over to, as we mentioned, one of the most profitable things you can do is ride with Matt Josephs in college football, and bowl season is upon us. A lot of people rip the bowls. They say, it's not as great because all these opt-outs and everything. If you're a sports bettor, opt-outs and this kind of information that you can get is the best thing in the world. Now, we do have, an interesting storyline with the change of coaches in this Fenway Bowl, Louisville, Cincy. Ross Benjamin came on Tuesday. He said he likes the under in this game, and you have a little bit more of an isolated total with these teams who will be sharing a sideline despite the fact that a coach bailed on him. How are you going to be betting the Fenway Bowl?
Yeah, there's a ton of aspects to it. When you look at Cincinnati, 5 of their top 6 pass catchers are out or transferring. One of their corners is gone. The kicker is gone. The starting quarterback is hurt, so Evan Prater will be their starting quarterback. He's all right, but he's got a mobility factor to his game. They've got an interim coach. Their offensive and defensive coordinators are gone. Then you look at the Louisville side. Their starting quarterback has opted out. So is one of their best wide receivers. So is one of their best corners. 6 or 7 other guys are either not playing in this game. And then the head coach is gone to Cincinnati, although he has said that he is going to stand out of this thing and not do anything for either side. The offensive coordinator went to Western Michigan. The co-defensive coordinators are gone. They're starting a guy named Brock Doman, who's been pretty bad as a quarterback, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yeah, there's rain and snow in the forecast in this one, at least for the start of the game. That's why we're going to isolate early. And this is one of my 2 client plays so far. It's a small one. It's only a unit play because I don't like to throw a lot of units at first quarter plays unless they involve the service academies. I'm looking at the first quarter under 9.5. I think that with the weather factor here and 2 sides that have brand new quarterbacks and defenses that are pretty much intact, it's going to be a miserable game. I'm hoping that if a thing is scored, a field goal's first, so that touchdown, is something they have to work for the first quarter. I'm going to isolate the first quarter here and look under 9.5 points for the first quarter in the Fenway Bowl with so many new pieces on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and also these are college-aged individuals who are now playing a game at 11 a.m. in Fenway. Yeah, makes sense. Under the 9.5 in the first quarter from our guy, Matt Josephs. Matt, you mentioned you just gave away a free client play. I'm guessing you have some others locked in bowl action. And I'm sure also as we move into bowl season, you would suggest people just grab the bowl package or some 30-day all access so they can get your plays as soon as they're loaded in case you have some major line moves, right?
Yeah, I have only one other client play up right now. It's a side I really like, but I don't play every bowl, and I don't play a lot of the bowls until the day before because I want the maximum amount of information, whether it's opt-outs, coaching changes, suspensions, weather, all that stuff. So if you buy the bowl package and you only see the 2 plays in there, it's because I wait until right beforehand because weather and all this other stuff. There's so much information that we still don't know yet. So certainly the bowl package will be good, and just remember, I don't play every bowl game, but the ones we do are stuff we really like.
That's Matt Josephs. Grab his bowl action right this moment. And also, as I mentioned, you get 30-day all access. You're getting the NFL plays sprinkled in. You're getting the college basketball plays sprinkled in as well. And if there's anyone that's able to find edges in these lower bet markets here at Sports Memo, it's my guy, Matt Josephs. Also, catch him tomorrow, 10 a.m. here. Or if you're tuning in, I guess, Friday morning, catch him each and every Friday morning on our Prop It Up show on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Matt Josephs giving you the under 9.5 points in the first quarter in that Fenway Bowl. And he also dropped a little Thursday night football, an all under special as he's going under 33.5 yards for the longest completion from Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, who has an oblique and a rib injury. Yeah, that's a play that while he was talking, I was locking in as well. Another guy who usually is able to win me around on some of these contrarian plays he brings to the table. EP, my guy, Eric Pauly joining the show. Eric, how you been since we talked last? And I know NFL continues to be pretty damn good for you.
Another great week, 3-1 last week, makes it 7 straight winning weeks, 10 of 14 on the season, 68% over the course of the last 30 days, and 60.8% on the season. So my volume really slows down after week 18. Over the course of the entire playoffs, I would expect maximum 5 plays for myself. So heading into this final stretch right now, feeling really good and looking to end it on a high note.
Yeah, I taught EP everything he knows when we were sitting in the Westgate, and he taught me everything I know about being on the basketball court. Of course, neither of those are true. If you see me play basketball and if you've seen EP pick these games and contrarian plays, I learn from this guy every time we have him on. Let's get into this Jets and Lions Bowl, because the Lions, I don't know if you heard, EP, they're going to the Super Bowl, man. They won 5 of the last 6 games. Everything's turning up roses. Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year. Now, a little bit of a test. They're going to travel on the road to the 7-6 Jets. So what do you think? This run for the Lions continues? Jared Goff continues his comeback player of the year bid, or how are you going to be betting this one?
So you got to give credit where credit's due, of course. What Detroit's been able to do on
Yeah.
offense when Swift is healthy, St. Brown is healthy, obviously Jamison Williams in that lineup, the way they're able to protect Goff, make him feel good, give him time to make the throws, credit where it's due. However, this is a sell high opportunity on the Detroit Lions, and I am going with the Jets on the money line to win this weekend at MetLife Stadium. And my handicap of this game, there's a couple of different facets. So for starters, Jared Goff is not a great quarterback in the cold. It's expected to be pretty cold at MetLife, this stadium. Number two is looking at the defenses the Lions have beat up on in the last couple of weeks. They took it to the Vikings, bad defense. The Jaguars, very bad defense. Played a close game to the Bills. Okay, give the credit. Beat the Giants, bad defense. Beat the Bears, bad defense. Beat the Packers, bad defense. Couldn't beat the Lions. Couldn't beat the Dolphins. Another mediocre defense. Then they played the Cowboys, got wrecked. Played the Patriots, got wrecked. Played the Seahawks, got wrecked in a high-scoring game. But the moral of the story is this is the best defense that the Lions have played over the last 6 or so weeks. And while they have done some great things on offense, I don't know if they'll be able to do it against this New York Jets defense. Now, Mike White is seriously concerning. His injury status is concerning. I know he should be playing, but he looks to be about one big hit away from having to miss probably some time. And Zach Wilson is officially the QB2. So I would definitely not put my money anywhere near Zach Wilson. However, I think this Jets defense does enough to make Goff uncomfortable. And I think that given, again, the conditions and how good Detroit has been, this Jets defense is going to be kind of a wake-up call. They play physical. They play well against the run, against the pass. And even though Quinnen Williams is questionable, even if he does not go, I'm still taking the Jets in this game. It's not a client play just yet. It will be because I am waiting for that Williams news, because if he's in and the line goes to Jets minus 115, I'll still play it. If he's out and the line sits at, plus even odds, or, minus 105 where it's at kind of now, I will still take that regardless. So I'm looking at the Jets and kind of just a sell high on the Lions. They've done some great things, but the Jets defense is the best they've seen recently.
Yeah, and also one of the game, obviously not in primetime, but a primetime matchup is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown against a guy who you have a ticket in your pocket on Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. First time you were on Sports Memo Today, you told people, get in now. You've been looking pretty damn good on that pick all year long. So that's going to be a big-time matchup, him, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if I'm going to isolate and play any props, but this is going to be a big week for Sauce's bid for sure for that DROY award. So we're looking at Jets on the money line. Let's talk a little Steelers at Carolina. You only pick the best matchups to talk about here on Sports Memo Today. I mean, this Carolina team, dude, they were dead. They fired their coach, and now they're getting market support and enough of it to be field goal favorites against the Steelers? I don't know. That seems a little bit rich for my taste. What do you think, EP?
I think it's certainly rich, especially for my taste. And going back and forth, having some conversation with some other professional bettors and hearing their insights, there was a release on the Panthers minus the 2.5 that brought that number to 3. But 3 points to me is kind of egregious in this matchup. Now, again, similar, I guess, to the Lions, you can't discount what Carolina has done recently. But on the other end of the spectrum, yes, Pittsburgh lost that game to the Ravens last week. Trubisky threw those 3 interceptions in relief of Pickett, who will probably not be playing again. We should be seeing Trubisky. Besides those 3 interceptions, he really had a great game for the Steelers against that Ravens defense that is legit. Now, this Panthers defense is borderline legit as well. They are a very solid unit. The way they're able to just ground and pounding that rock is impressive. And it's nice that they have an identity on offense. But we're also going with kind of that head coach motivation factor also. Steve Wilkes doing a good job as the interim head coach of Carolina. But Mike Tomlin is not looking to have a losing season at all at any point. Also, considering the fact that TJ Watt has been playing, he's been playing well, and I expect him to have a good matchup against this Panthers offensive line. I don't expect a ton of scoring. And this, again, more so comes down to the fact that you're telling me that the Carolina Panthers need to win a football game by 4 points. That's not on my bingo card anywhere. I don't see that happening for Carolina. I think the Steelers keep it close enough. This is a game I'm still flirting with, so I have not made it official yet. I'm debating whether or not I tease the Steelers up to 8.5, because that could be a fantastic opportunity to do that. Classic advantage teaser style. There are some really good options on the board there, but it's just more so. First, there's one thing to have a team getting points or having a team to just win a game outright than having a team needing to win by margin. And the Carolina Panthers are not a team built to win by margin.
Yeah, and also whenever I see a plus next to the Steelers name, I always just go to the little program. I make sure, wait, Mike Tomlin is still the head coach, right? Since 2007, under Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers best in the league against the spread during that span, 49, 30, and 5. That's a 62% cover rate. Steelers blindly betting them as an underdog under Mike Tomlin. You get 2 co-stamps on the bets given out today from my man Eric Pauly. Hopefully that's not the kiss of death for you, my guy. What do you have up this weekend? I know biggest play of the NFL season, probably top of the card, something you're pretty excited about. What are people going to get when they head on over to your page, sm.buzz/EP?
Of course. So I always am going to package all my plays for Sunday slate like I've done all season long. But this week is certainly special because it does include my first 4% play of the season, which is now my biggest play of the entire NFL season to date. That is a teaser. There's another side play that I didn't talk about here that's already baked into that package. You'll be getting the Jets in that package as well, and anything else that comes up from a prop perspective, a teaser perspective, or another spread that, either doesn't adjust to some news or over adjusts to other news that I'll keep my eye on. Last week, again, 4 plays only. I'm not a high volume guy in the first place, but 4 is definitely on the lower end for me, and that's just because I hated the board. This week, I'm kind of salivating looking at the board. So again, hope that's not a kiss of death. Hope it's exciting. And again, already 2 plays locked in, 3. You can call the Jets 3, just depends what number I get at. So 3 plays locked in, looking to bounce back and not bounce back, looking to keep up this hot streak, make it 8 straight winners.
Love to see it. 8 straight winners that we're looking for from our guy, Eric Pauly. And he just gave you 2 free plays right there in one of his most profitable sports since joining Sports Memo here. Jets on the money line, Steelers plus the spot. Want to remind you too, Matt Josephs gave you that under 9.5 in the first quarter of the Fenway Bowl. And tonight we're looking at under the 33.5 yards on the longest completion for Brock Purdy. That's going to do it for us. If you enjoyed the show, all we ask you to do, hop in below in those comments. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree, what you're betting on, and make sure that you hit that bell. Subscribe to all the great shows here at Sports Memo TV and Wager Talk TV. Make sure you hit that like button as well. That's going to do it for us. Big thanks to Matt Josephs. Big thanks to Eric Pauly. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and we will be back on Tuesday giving you actionable info in 30 minutes or less right here on Sports Memo Today.